That's not me. That's not me.
Oh, hey.
I can play me. I'm not doing anything.
Oh, come on, guys. Damn.
Oh my God.
Marking out and Mania live together in perfect harmony, side by side on this podcast, live this Saturday morning. We all know that it's not the same without some people. There was good and bad with lots of things. And the Madness and March, blah, Madness and March. What about that round? You know what I mean? Marking out and Mania live together in perfect harmony, side by side on this podcast, live this Saturday morning. Mark out Mania, we're live Saturday morning with you. Oh my!
Woo! Good stuff, man.
Thank you. I like that the opening people are going to hear y'all talking about noise. Welcome everyone to the Mark Out Mania, and welcome back. Is this your fourth time?
It's my third.
Third.
Yes.
Third time. It's Angie. Welcome back.
Angie.
Thank you for having me.
It's the ANGIE. What's up, Edge?
Welcome back.
Thank you. I was telling James, my goal is to make the 5-timers club. You have a 5-timers club, yes?
Do we? It would be tasty if there is one.
You know, like on SNL, they have a 5-timers club.
Oh.
Are you gonna get a smoking jacket? Yeah.
I'm gonna get a smoking jacket.
Yeah.
That was
You're gonna
awesome.
mark out You're gonna mark out Mania velvet jacket.
Yes. Zeus has
There
to
you
make
go.
the emblem.
There you go.
Well, we're gonna have to check to see who's been on here the most times now.
What is that? Velvet? Yeah, like that, right?
I remember when Tully Blanchard was before he started teaming up with Arn and Ole and the beginnings of the Horsemen. There was a point where he was kind of using the TV champion to criticize Ric Flair, who was he was still kind of a face at the time because he was wrestling against Nikita. And I remember one time they were on the air, cutting a promo on each other, and Ric Flair, he definitely pulled out the bigger wallet, type stuff, and he was talking about Tully's wardrobe, and he felt Tully's ties he's like, that's really nice. What is that, vinyl? And, that was back,
That's funny.
Back in the day before they started running together. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's funny.
We had the Sweet 16 of the Markout Mania Madness of March Tag Team Tourney. If y'all want to get that, y'all want to get that out of the way. On the I guess we can call it on the east side, the Steiner brothers beat the Funks pretty handily. That was 67 to 33%.
I was surprised it was that much of a. I was surprised it was that much of a margin. I thought it'd be a little closer than that.
I mean, the Funks did really good because I mean they beat Gordy and Williams, which was shocking.
Oh man.
Yeah, they beat. Yeah, they got to the Sweet 16 by beating the team the last time I ran a big tag team tournament like this, Gordy and Williams made it all the way to the semis. So, so they went down. Then the number 6 team, Harlem Heat, in the upset loss to Henson and Brody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hanson and Brody took care of Harlem Heat.
Yeah, and that was like 59 to 41%, which
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's not a huge margin really.
No, it's not.
The tightest match of the East Side was the Rock and Roll Express squeaking it out over Jimmy Jam Garvin and Michael P.S. Hayes.
The Freebirds.
Yeah, 53 to 47%.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that was close.
Yeah. Sadly, the U.S. Express went down really hard in the biggest, most lopsided.
Not the most lopsided.
Yeah, it was 85 to 15% for the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane.
The Midnight Express are the better tag team, period. So
no, I agree. I agree.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I just was like, like I mentioned, like my automatic eye went to the Midnight Express,
As they should.
And so I just was like, and I'm like, no. But
I know you love
okay.
your Barry Windham.
Yes.
But if it's Barry Windham by himself, that's a different story. But Barry Windham on that end, but you can have Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, or not Sweet Stan and Beautiful Bobby.
Yes. Unfortunately, yes.
But they did. I mean, they did span more than one territory. They were in Florida.
They did.
They were in AWA. That continental area and. WWF Tag Team Champions. I mean, they had every bit. Really. I mean, they had an excellent resume going into it. On the West Side, that was the Road Warriors destroying Jack and Jerry Briscoe, 88 to 12%. And I know your boy Brian Bell was sad because Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, the Horsemen, defeated the British Bullfrogs 65 to 35%.
As they should.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then in the upset of the round, the biggest upset, the number 16 seed, the Hart Foundation, took out the Dudley Boys.
That's impossible. What world are we living in?
33%.
Oh my God, that's lopsided too.
Yeah.
Dudley Boys been everywhere, won everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, Angie.
Yeah.
Yes, Angie. And
hello, I think you lost me.
No, we hear
you. Got
you.
Me? Okay, cool.
We hear you.
Yes. Okay. I got some.
Angie?
I thought you were gonna sing that.
Got some buffering, sounds like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the Rolling Stones, Angie.
And and then in the final match, Ricky Steamboat, Jay Youngblood defeated Miyazawa and Kobashi, and that was 63 to 38%. That was pretty tight.
I think Steamboat and Youngblood are becoming the sentimental favorites.
Yeah, underdog.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely. I mean, that's the thing is they were so huge in their time. 5-time NWA World Tag Team Champions. I mean, they were really impactful. I think they left a huge legacy, and I think that's part of the reason. That and the Japanese teams have not been getting a lot of love in this tournament.
They got no love whatsoever.
But I was really shocked that the Hart Foundation beat the Dudleys.
Yeah, how does the Hart Foundation beat the Dudleys? Man? What kind of bullshit is that?
At all. I'm not.
I'm not either.
Why?
Because the Hart Foundation are going to be more well known.
Yes, they're more popular.
Yes. I mean,
the
just having
Dudleys?
yes,
Then
just
the
having the
Dudleys?
association with
Yes.
Bret Hart is going to make it more
Yeah,
popular.
there's also been a wave of positive Bret Hart remembrance over the ever since he got in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a general positive wave of remembering everything he did. Because sometimes the public can turn on you for a while.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not that he hasn't been ugly publicly to anybody. He wasn't being what he thought he was truthful about before.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So
I like
he hasn't
Bret Hart, but the
made-
problem is that he marks out on himself a bit too much. You know what I'm saying?
right, but he's quiet. He's been a lot more quiet now.
True.
Ever since all
he's
this,
still burying Goldberg. He's still burying Goldberg. Pretty
Oh
hard.
my God! Like really? Like 25 years later?
yeah, but still, I mean, some guys are bitter, and I get it. But
How do you not go diva and get the tables? I mean, come on, man. It's like
I voted for the Hart Foundation because they're my favorite tag team of all time.
really.
But but Pedro, that they don't. That they didn't do a tenth of what the Dudleys did.
Well, yeah, the Dudleys. Well, the interesting thing with the Dudleys, a lot of the stuff the Dudleys did in terms of racking up all those accomplishments was in mimicking the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
So it's weird that in a lot of ways we're going to come back to this over and over. The Road Warriors are like the prototype that everyone is kind of going to follow.
Right, and I don't think that people can truly understand how huge that was because we're so used to it at this point.
Yeah,
and how many young people are coming up and they grew up, hearing about that legend, and there just wasn't a team like by the time the '90s had come around, and the Road Warriors had kind of they'd kind of built their name and were kind of falling off a little bit, as far as how everyone else was treating them at that point. I mean, but still, pretty much for most of the first 20 years, they were a top tag team.
Yeah, I mean, you remember when the Dudleys, one of their runs outside of the WWE, they're like, we've won, we racked up the IWGP, we racked up the this, we racked up the that, and they would mention the Road Warriors, like trying to rival or surpass the accomplishments.
Yeah.
So I mean, the everyone kind of owes so much to the Road Warriors. I agree that in terms of accomplishments and longevity, you can't compare the two. The Dudleys versus the Hart Foundation, but it doesn't surprise me.
Oh no!
Because the popularity is just way.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, Natalia remembering, Jim and Jim being finally remembered. I mean, nobody hated Jim Neidhart,
right?
Right. I mean, he wasn't a great, worker. I mean, he wasn't an all-time great, but he was really good at the role he was in. And he cut good promos too. I mean, the packaging of that hot pink team with Jimmy Hart, and even without Jimmy Hart, I mean, they were still. I mean, their impact is huge, and this shows that they do have huge, lasting impact.
Good point.
So
that's a huge upset.
Shout out to YYH in the chat room.
The beach.
YYH, I will. Okay, so YYH, I'm gonna tell a little funny story. She messages me and asks me, "Oh, can you send me a picture?" Angelico moved up in the rankings from PWI. Can you send me a picture of the article? So I'm like, sure. So I'm looking through the magazines. I don't see anything. I'm like, Angelico's name is not anywhere. So I'm like, what is happening? So I message her back and I'm like, I can't find it. I don't know if I'm looking at the wrong place. I don't see anything with Angelico. And so she messaged me back. She'll, it's in the PWI top 500. It comes out in June or July. Thank you, though. And I'm like, okay.
Y2H2, keep smoking the crack. Good job.
She's not smoking crack.
That'll be available online too. You'll be able to buy that issue online.
I remember I used to collect those, man. I used to love those PWI top 500s, man.
That's why I like the magazine as opposed to doing it online, because it's just like nice to like look at the actual magazine again, you know?
It's just like comic books. I'd rather have one in my hand than.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I can't read comic books online. I try.
Right, I try. As far as double Y double H goes, I mean, she don't want to pay, $25 for shipping.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't mind like taking a copy of, snipping out the picture for her, no problem. Yeah. But I was like looking and flipping all the pages, and I'm like looking at all the match results.
About 3 months ahead.
So if you want to get the preview for the final 8 team.
Yeah. The Elite Eight.
The Elite Eight is going to be Rick and Scott Steiner against Stan Hansen and Bruiser Brody.
Holy
okay.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, and then it's going to be the Rock and Roll Express against the Midnight Express.
Oh, classic matchup.
Right?
Yes, a blast from the past.
And no more cock and balls. Bye-bye.
And then on the other side, it's going to be the Road Warriors against the Horsemen again. Rematch.
Man, you are killing me. That is no. That's no. No, Zeus.
I know the next matchup. Go for it, Zeus.
The Hard Foundation against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Jay Youngblood.
That's going to be easy for me, but that.
Yeah.
And as our friend Heather likes to say, if you don't vote for Ricky Steamboat, you're a cop.
I'm going to have to be a cop this time.
Pedro's a cop. Pedro.
It's going to be really interesting.
You're killing me with these matchups.
Oh, no. Oh,
I didn't even get to vote. How am I killing you?
Hey.
I just made this tournament,
Yeah, I know. But I know. I got to blame somebody.
Who do you all see as the final?
Oh, that's a good question, Pedro.
I think it's going to be the Steiners and the Road Warriors.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express,
or Rock and Roll. I mean, that's a real toss up.
No.
James, what would be your reaction if the Rock and Roll?
If by some way I don't think Hansen and Brody can get past the Steiners because
you don't think that?
No, I don't think so. They've been roughing everybody up.
Yeah,
they've been roughing everybody up, and if you really once again you got a team that lived a lot. It's lived a long time on reputation because, like when I was researching through all that, I mean, Stan Hansen is just such a prolific tag team wrestler that he would team with anybody. He was one of the most loyal guys in all Japan.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, they could just put anybody with him and it was going to be a good tag team.
Well, he was loyal to Baba.
Yeah. And I mean, so it was him and him and Tenru, him and Spivey, him and Ted DiBiase, him and Jimmy Snuka. It wasn't just Brody. And that's the only thing is that, Brody wanted to go every damn where. He was like, all right, well, fuck this. I'm going to Texas next month. I'm going to go to Puerto Rico next month. And, he never settled down, So, really the greatness of of Brody and Hanson, and they only won the PWF Tag Team Championship. It was before that was that and the NWA International Tag Team titles were unified. So they don't even actually have an All Japan World Tag Team title reign under their belts together.
Right.
Whereas, like, you know, Gordy and Williams were 5-time All Japan World Tag Team champions, and even Hanson and Spivey were like 3-time tag team champions.
I never liked Dan Spivey.
Well, the biggest problem with Dan Spivey is WCW tried to make him into, you know, another Sid Vicious, and instead of just letting him be a brawler.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a brawler.
And then he did that stupid Waylon Mercy gimmick too in WWF. That was horrible.
A lot of people say that you know, that Bray Wyatt took a lot from that.
Really?
Yeah.
You mentioned Gordy and Williams. Did Angie and James, Zeus too, did y'all watch the Dark Side of the Ring?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we did. Yes.
There's a lot of talk about him,
Yes.
the Brawl for All.
Yeah, that's good
shit.
segue. That's a good segue, Pedro.
Yeah. And I mean, just
And
when I
then-
thought I couldn't hate Vince Russo anymore.
Oh my goodness.
That guy marched out for himself. He's
Whoa.
a savage.
The first 10 minutes, I was totally disconnected because I cannot stand him. Cannot
Me neither.
stand him. And then when it started to switch over to the actual behind the scenes, I was just enthralled.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like the stuff about you know, with Bart. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had it felt like he was just really just like, you know, because a lot of these guys talk about shit and have talked about shit ad nauseum over the years, so they kind of have, you know, things kind of already stacked in their head on how they talk about it. But you can tell, I thought it seemed like, you know, he was really like, you know, they ask him about something and it's like, well, he, you know, he searched his brain and then just, you know, boom, that's, you know, how he remembered it, you know, is what he said. You know, it wasn't a lot of, you know, kind of stuff that people say over and over.
Right.
Yeah, on paper, I was like, Brawl for All is a topic. I didn't think it was going to be a great topic, but then I got super into the episode. It was very.
It was
Yeah, I got into it too.
so, oh, wow.
I
It
felt
was,
bad for Bart at first because he's like he got shafted, you know.
Yeah.
You're like everybody was making this big programming angle for Steve Williams, and then after he got knocked the fuck out,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, that was it. Everybody just turned their back. They're like, oh, okay, well, this is pretty much over, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, you know. That's
Well, they
tough.
did say they didn't know what to do with him. They weren't expecting it, so they
Yeah.
were not obviously prepared for it. But I felt really bad for him the whole after, and you know,
Yeah, the whole
whole
shit with
time.
Butterbean too. Yeah,
that
brutal.
was just a setup. It seemed like it was just like a setup at that point.
Yeah, Butterbean said Vince McMahon set up the match with him and Bart to punish Bart because he was
Yeah.
off with Bart.
Mm-hmm. Poor
I'll tell you,
guy.
man, Vince McMahon got some
Evil
fucking
bastard.
ego on him. Yeah, huge
know?
ego on that man.
That fight with Butterbean, like I remember it being brutal when we saw it, you know, back in the day, and then
Right.
watching it again, it was like even worse than I remembered. That final, like that knockout was like, holy shit, his head almost does go like
Yeah.
you know, Exorcist or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. his
It was
head,
like, Daddy, you killed
spun.
somebody in the ring. And that was funny. I was laughing at that. I was like, oh my
See,
God.
And that's the thing is like, you know, all the stuff, you know, especially since all of that, all the stuff that we've seen in MMA and like, you know, all the stuff that I've seen in MMA and Muay
Oh,
Thai
yeah.
and everything like that. It's like you take guys, and I've said this many times, like, because like a lot of people will say, you know, have said, you know, over the years, you know, Kurt Angle could have, you know, when he left WWE, he could have just, gone and started doing MMA instead of going to TNA.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Not at that point, because he never got punched in the face.
No.
You know,
Right.
and that's a whole different animal. And that's what a lot of those guys. That's why they had to pick the guys that they did. They couldn't just, because they were letting them shoot. You couldn't pick the guys who look like they threw a good punch. They had to be guys where it's like, well, yeah, you've gotten in a lot of fights. But it's a huge difference in getting in that, combat sports situation and actually having someone punching you in the face to try to hurt you than, being
Yeah,
in
you're right, Zeus.
where
Yeah,
you're-
you're right.
Mhm.
Because even when the
you're trying
Godfather
to
got
make it
punched in
look
his
good.
face.
Yeah.
Because even when the Godfather got punched in his face, his leg gave out.
Right. And
that's what happened with Steve Williams too.
That's
His-
right. Yeah, that's right.
And all these guys hold their hands too low. And you see that like all these so many if you see like a highlight reel of knockouts, it doesn't matter if it's karate or boxing or whatever. It's almost always some guy with his hands too damn low. If you don't protect your face, like most people don't, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get hit in the face, and you're gonna get knocked down. So that's the long and the short of that.
How about this week's episode that's coming up? With
Oh,
Jimmy Snuka.
that's going to be hard.
Oh,
That is
shit.
going to be hard.
Yeah.
I'm very
Imagine-
interested in that.
It's kind of
Oh.
funny that WWE's trotting out his daughter again, and this is coming up. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
you noticed
yeah,
that, right?
bad
Yeah, you
timing.
noticed that, right?
what were you gonna say, Angie? I apologize.
No, I was just no worries. I was just going to mention The Godfather looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Who
like,
said Pippin ain't
what? Apparently it is because he looks great.
And I'm telling you, he's chilling.
And
He was
it's
like, yeah, I was
interesting.
high, I was
Because
fucked up, I'm
at
thinking-
the after show, he was mentioning how they've never seen JBL bully anyone or anything like that, which,
Mhm.
contrary
Well-
to belief, I've heard otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we all have.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, okay, if you say so.
JBL's still doing stuff with the WWE, so of course he's got to watch.
Yeah.
Watch what they say.
Yeah, you can't if you're not working for AEW, you can't just openly shit on people in WWE.
Yeah, because you never
Yeah.
know. Well, except for Bart, even Bart Gunn was like, and I don't believe he has anything to do with the business any longer.
No.
But even
No.
he was like, it was just the normal kidding around or anything like that. But you look up YouTube
but
and you'll find
that was way long ago. I mean, that was before he had the relationship with Orlando and Randy Orton, and
Oh yeah, yeah, Right.
because that's what got Orlando fired,
yeah.
because
Mhm.
he was the one that got he got punished to try to get Orton and JBL in line.
Yeah. What about Jim Ross? What did y'all think about him from this episode?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. I had trouble with the fact that he wasn't like, I don't expect them to be all confessional like a shoot, like I understand it's not a shoot. I understand that. But at the same time, come on, if you were pushing for Williams, own it. It's past the point now.
I mean, we all knew it back in the day that he was.
Yeah.
I mean, the I think the most honest thing he said was, "Why wouldn't you get behind a guy like Steve Williams?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
I mean, he was a legit, athlete. So
Yeah, he was.
oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree. Was the most honest thing that he did say. Because other than that, it was.
Probably the most honest thing he said the whole time.
See, I have a trouble with Jim Ross. I do like listening to him, but like half the things that come out of his mouth is either bullshit or you really can't remember from when he was doing it because he was placid at the time.
One more thing I want to bring up from it, the Jim Cornette of Vince Russo stuff. Holy moly.
Wow.
Like, it's weird that like on the one hand
in there?
I agree, I agree with Cornette's view on this specific topic, but he is like he was becoming like unhinged, like, I will murder you. Like it was like, oh shit.
It's like two children in the schoolyard.
Yeah,
that's what it's like. Because they act like two kids in the schoolyard. I hate you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to murder you. Because it's like it never ends with those two.
Well,
and you know what? Go ahead, Angie. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's just like, and it's not going to end for as long as Jim Cornette has breath in him. It's just not going to end, and that's fine. I mean, I agree with him when it comes to Russo. I think Russo is just a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah, the thing that the whole thing that upsets me about Russo and this whole thing, because he sits there and goes, but he's mad at me like I did something. Yeah, you did do something, you idiot. Because I can't stand it. You know what? Because I can't stand the people who play the woe is me card. Mm-hmm. And he was like, but, well, why me? I don't understand why he's mad at me like that. I mean, come on, really? Own up to it, Even you said it. I did Brawl for All just to shut up JBL because you marked out hard on yourself. You had the power to do something about it at the time. And you did step up and own it.
Russo was still enjoying that knockout a little bit too much.
Yeah, he was watching it. He goes, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's entertainment. If I'm watching it for the first time, I'm entertained. I'm like, wow.
He's like, look at that. Look at JBL's legs flail. Oh, this.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. Like, he marks out for himself.
I enjoyed JBL getting knocked out.
Well, yeah, all of us do. But, I mean, come on, man. If you're Russo, own it,
Yeah, it's that one mutual we got on Twitter, Mongolian Shop, was like, so Russo created Brawl for All just to watch JBL get knocked the fuck out.
Actually, I read somewhere that Vince wanted to do the same thing for NXT. I was like, oh my god, thank God that didn't happen.
Oh man, that'd be
It
terrible.
would have ruined that. Yeah, that would have been terrible. Oh,
I mean, it really was one of the worst ideas ever. Like they said, I mean, it maimed guys, it destroyed careers, and it doesn't matter what you feel about, Dr. Death at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that whole thing should have been a work.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that Bart Gunn said in the episode, like if they had kept them apart in the brackets, he would have quote unquote worked with them. He would have he hinted he would have jobbed on purpose in the final.
Yes,
and he said that more than once. And it's
they're like, no,
right. Oh,
we don't need you to. He's got it, and
like you don't think that's gonna piss someone off? Like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely don't. They definitely just screwed the pooch on the entire thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I felt bad for everybody who got knocked out of there. I'm like, Jesus, look at
Draws.
that.
Well, he's Draws. I'm glad Draws is. He's glad he's got a good attitude. I mean,
it was good to see Draws.
It was good to see him. Yes, it was. It really was. Yes.
And I'm sorry, sis. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it was a 97 or 98 house show that was during the angle where they brought Draws into Legion of Doom.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Hawk was the drunken idiot, and it was just that was so hard for me as a fan, and
actually I wanted to ask you guys about that.
Yeah,
all of you real quick, all of you. Did the WWF, did they ruin the Road Warriors by doing that?
Oh, totally.
I mean, they were consistently lowering them. They just, I mean, I understand that, part of the problem with the Road Warriors is they're probably not super easy to work with.
And they were getting older. They were a little cranky.
Yeah.
But the thing was, is they were still the most, they were most popular tag team wherever they went, you know, pretty much until the late 90s, you know, early 2000s, you know.
Hawk also, he had a lot of substance abuse issues, didn't he?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
That, of course, created part of the problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wasn't that part of why they brought in Draws? Was because they're like, we can't rely on this guy.
Yeah. And because, and that was after Hawk had come back from Japan, though.
Mm.
So I don't know if he'd started. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure out.
We got a dark side of the ring of that coming up. So
that's going to be interesting. That's going to be hard.
I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck did they put them with Sonny?
You know, that was goofy, wasn't it? Back in the day, like, here they are, Legion of Doom 2000, and like the new thing was Sonny.
Is that when Sonny started walking out with them?
Yeah.
Okay. That's when they updated their gear and all that.
I like the new helmets.
Right.
And Hawk hated it. And Animal said on their DVD, he said, you know, he's like, come on, man. He's like, just give it a try. And he said Hawk either threw it in the trash or threw it out into the fan, into a fan or something like that. He said, but that he wore the helmet like that first night at WrestleMania and never wore it again.
I saw the Legion of Doom 2000. I saw this reiteration of it with the Draws, like back in
like 97, 98.
June of 1998 at a house show. They lost to D-Generation X, to like the New Age Outlaws and X-Pac. They beat like Draws and the Road Warriors at this house show in June of 98.
You know, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more the week that comes out. But sadly, I never got to see just Hawk and Animal in their primes together.
And you're in the area, wasn't it possible for you?
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I mean, if I think it was Animal that was hurt at the 1989 show I went to that was supposed to be Hawk and Animal against the Skyscrapers. And
Kaiju Queen in the house, yes. I said we already mentioned that, Heather. Yeah.
But it would have been that would have been the perfect time to have seen them. In
NWA heyday.
Yeah,
I think they were gone. I think they were gone in '85 when I went to my first show. And you know, they didn't really come back until like 86, 87 full time from the AWA.
I saw them in 1991 in their WWF run. And then
I saw them in a house show in Philly.
Yeah.
NWA house show. It was an NWA house show.
Oh wow.
Nice.
You guys see them with Iron Man and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was probably the We Are Iron Man remix. Yeah, that was the shit, man. But yeah, I mean, you know, something else you said earlier, Pedro, that's been in my head for 20 years is that, well, not that, maybe, well, probably about that long, but everything that everybody else has done is, you know, as a success in tag teams, you know, is because the Road Warriors paved the way and showed people that, you know, a tag team could make it, you know, in the 80s and 90s for a long period of time, you know, and be good and popular and over
and be dominant.
Yeah. That wasn't an express team. So,
well,
Pedro's going to be a cop.
I got to be a cop this next round, Heather. I apologize, but
right.
Let's get into the real bullshit now.
Good job, Pedro.
WrestleMania 36.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh my god.
I still haven't watched 1 minute of that.
Two nights. Heather, Angie, did you watch?
I have not.
Oh,
I have not.
You're gonna get a lot of spoilers.
That's fine. I'm good. Spoil away.
James, you saw the whole thing?
Yes, I did live as it happened.
I saw night 1, and on night 2, I saw through Edge and Orton, and then the Funhouse. I haven't seen the tag titles, the women multi-way, or the Drew Brock on night 2.
Well, I'm gonna send you some spoilers then, okay? I'm gonna tell you some spoilers.
I know what happens, of course. Yeah. I know what happens.
I just, in a nutshell, I will have to say this. I will have to say that WWE actually got creative because they actually listened and they said, you know what, you have to think outside the box a little bit. They did that. Some of it was a massive hit, others were not. The whole thing with the Boneyard match, that was a hit. The 5-5 Funhouse match was 50-50. I hear pros and cons. I personally thought it had moments where I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of cool. And then moments I was like, wow, really? I did mark out when John Cena actually walked out. He had the WCW belt. That was actually kind of cool. But overall, the whole thing, there were the actually 2 heavyweight title matches were exactly the same.
Yep.
The Universal match and the heavyweight match, they were the exact same match.
I saw highlights of the Drew Brock on Raw, and I felt like I saw pretty much the whole match.
It was the same. It was the same thing as Strowman. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
It was the same exact match. I think the 2 best matches on the card were actually Flair and Ripley because they went at it and they were talking shit too.
Mm-hmm.
They're very stiff in the ring and they were actually telling the story. I did like Kevin Owens and I did like Seth Rollins. They took some insane bumps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've read people say it's the best WrestleMania. I've also read some comments where they said that Boneyard match was he was actually contender for match of the year, which is absolutely ludicrous, which is fucking ridiculous in my book. But it's hit and miss. If you like some of that stuff, okay. If not, but I thought it was crap. I think, and I've said this already, and I'm gonna say it again. I think wrestling needs to go on a hiatus.
Mm.
Take everybody heal up, everybody recharge their batteries, and come back fresh. That whole ladder match, and I know you and I agree on this, Pedro. That shit was trash.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what? I'll just let you get into all the specifics because I just thought it was hit and miss. I stood there and I watched 6 hours of consecutive nights of this shit. And I'm going, wow, you know what? Brutal.
Hey, so James, here's something I thought about. We saw earlier this year, we saw 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
And then we saw 2 nights of WrestleMania. And WrestleMania was so much harder to get through than Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, yeah, because a lot of the matches in WrestleMania was like it was a typical Raw or SmackDown match.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned stiffness. I think everyone across the board was stiffer.
Yeah, they were.
It's like, since there's no audience, it seems like one thing we're seeing with the no audience wrestling is everyone's like, we kind of have to up the stiffness because, we can't hide as many things like with noise.
Yeah. I did like the I did like the Raw tag team match. It was okay. I do like the Street Profits though. They definitely bring the energy to the ring. But you can tell like a lot of these performers need the crowd to get over.
Mm.
There are some who don't, and there are some who do.
I want to know your thoughts on the SmackDown Women's title since I didn't see that one.
It looked like it was overproduced at first. You could tell it was rehearsed. But as it went along, it got better. There was some stiffness in that match as well. I did like how it ended. All the finishes in the WrestleMania were all shit.
A lot of I don't know if all of them, but a lot of them were really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they were bad finishes. I'm not talking about the outcome. I'm talking about the finishes. You know, it just like, come on, you got to. There's a better way to end the match than that. But I thought the women's title, I thought the women's SmackDown 5-way match was okay. It got better as it went along. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either.
Okay, well, let's get into some of these things. The women's tag team match that opened the show on night one. I thought it was a good match.
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was pretty decent.
I thought it was a good match. The finish was really flat. It just kind of like,
it was.
Because they were doing all this, sort of back and forth and building up, and then it was just like hot tag, one move, over.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh. Of course, I hated the result myself.
Well, the results to me are not.
I hated it because Alexa Bliss is not very good.
That's the mark in you coming out, Pedro.
She's not very good. And
but I'm happy for Nikki Cross.
Kabuki Warriors. I'm like, fuck this shit. Fuck it.
But see, I didn't mind that. It's because I want Asuka to go on a singles run.
I mean,
as a heel,
it kind of doesn't matter what they do with her at this point because, I mean, they've been doing so bad with her on the main roster.
Yeah, but she's been getting over with this commentary gimmick and her in the ring being loud. Everybody's walking out over that. So, I think you should go with it. Have her as the heel commentator. Have her commentate everything in Japanese. Have her go for it.
That ladder match for the tag team titles.
That was atrocious.
Oh my God, that was really bad.
NXT ladder match was better than that.
Yeah, I thought, a friend of mine, when I was complaining about the ladder match, they were telling me like that I wasn't being fair and that if this was in front of an audience, I would love it, blah, blah, blah. And I was saying, like, I just don't think this works without people. And then there was the NXT women's ladder match, and that match totally worked without people. And I was like, well, it can work without people. The ladder.
I thought that finish with the men's ladder match was ridiculous.
Oh, the finish was like a cartoon.
That was so stupid. I was like, you got to be shit.
I saw the end of that. I did see that.
What did you think, Zeus?
It was kind of wonky.
Yeah. It's horrible. Horrible.
It was like a cartoon, like Morrison, like, he falls with the thing, and then like the Uso and Kofi look at each other like, like cue the home improvement noise.
Yeah. That's funny.
I thought, I agree with you. I thought Rollins Owens was the best match on night one.
Yeah. Those chair shots were brutal.
Oh yeah. That was a good match. The Boneyard match. We really need to talk about this Boneyard match. Angie, you haven't seen any of this?
I've seen some of the Boneyard match, yes. Because I adore AJ Styles. So I did catch some of that.
Well, and we all four of us adored Lucha Underground. So this is like a match we should all be talking about.
Yes, because of the cinematic shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an 8-hour TV production. Okay, it took over 8 hours to make. It's not matching in your Canada. Okay.
Well, it's not. To me, the thing I keep comparing it to the most was Melissa Santos versus Katrina on season 4 of Lucha Underground.
Yeah, but they didn't bill that as a match, though, right?
Right, exactly.
Right. But it's the most similar thing I can think of in terms of it's like a blow-off fight, like that's like a movie scene.
Yeah.
Right. I thought at first
even
I was
life
like,
and death consequences, like we almost get the same implication there too.
At first I was like, what the hell is this? And then but then I accepted it for what it was. Like after I accepted for what it is, I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. It's cool. I dug how AJ came out of the coffin. That was hot. That was kind of hot. I marked out on that. I was like, oh, you little sneaky bastard. That's kind of cool. And then here comes the Undertaker riding on his bike and the wide shot. I'm like, what is this? Easy Rider HD? I'm like, how are we living over here? And I'm like, Steven Spielberg's directing this motherfucker. I'm like, look at this.
What about the names? Like AJ comes out of the thing and they like kind of pause and you see AJ Styles and then Undertaker rides on the motorcycle. He gets off the motorcycle, Undertaker.
Oh, like I'm watching the lost episode of Sons of Anarchy and shit. Like what is this? But it was cool. It was cool, and like I dug how AJ was. I have to admit, I never really thought he could pull off being a really good heel, but he did it. I mean, he done it. He's an effective heel. I like him better as a face, but he's an effective heel.
I like him better as a heel, actually.
No, I like him better as a face, but he's a good heel. He's a good heel. And, like the way he was taunting Taker, it was kind of cool. He was calling him Mark. Come on, Mark. Come on, Calloway. I'm like, oh, shit. It's kind of, come on, Mark. You're an old man. You're a has-been. What's wrong, old man? What's wrong? I was like, oh, look at AJ going in. I'm loving this, right?
And then the reverse, Undertaker.
Yeah. He's like, son. You're like, hey, Alan, you're all right there, son? You're like, don't be afraid, son. Everybody dies. Wow! I was like, holy shit. It was kind of, I kind of marked out at the end,
Face it like a man. Face it like a man.
Yeah, and then a little bit of like the mystical to it, it was cool, and they had special effects. I kind of cheesed on the sound effects. Every time he threw a punch and hit AJ, there was a sound effect. I was like, come on, really?
We had musical score even.
Scored by Encino Marino or some shit. I know, right?
I'm gonna
Hans Zimmer did the score. Like, come on.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually enjoyed the hell out of the Boneyard thing.
I did. After I accepted it for what it was, though.
Like, it's not a match. Like,
no.
I can't even think of it in those terms. It's like a short movie.
It's a Lucha Underground production.
Yeah, basically, but it's not It's not like a match.
Vignette. It's not a.
Yeah, it's a long vignette, right? It's an 8-hour to produce vignette.
But I really enjoyed it. Like it was.
I did too.
It was the most entertaining thing of the whole WrestleMania.
You didn't see the Funhouse match, right?
I did see the Funhouse match.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you didn't like it at all, right?
I did not enjoy the Funhouse match at the fuck all. But
it was a trip in John Cena's mind. It was going down memory lane.
Oh.
You didn't find none of that cool, Pedro?
No, not really.
Even with the big SmackDown fist in the background, because I marked out on that.
No, yeah, I mean it was funny that they're bringing up all these props and moments and stuff, but it just
even the Blue Steel Cage made an appearance.
Yeah, I know the Saturday Night Live thing with Animotion's Obsession and stuff making an appearance too. So you mentioned Charlotte and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, they went at it.
That was the best pure match on between both nights.
Yes.
From what I saw.
There was some good wrestling in that match. There was some good chain wrestling. There was some good storytelling too.
It was a stiff match.
I'm sorry, but it took like 10 years, but I'm finally like feeling Charlotte. Like it took forever, like 10 years or however she's been there, but I'm finally like coming around to give her credit.
Angie, she's amazing. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she just wrote on Rick's, Rick's name so long that it was just like I couldn't like break the, I was going to say something else, but I digressed. But
Speaking of party slips,
Angie, you're killing me.
I think Charlotte's really good. I don't think she's great, but I think she's really good. And I think she's a natural heel. She always has been a natural heel, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So anytime they try to make her a face, it's like the worst thing ever because she's just not a genuine face for whatever reason. She just not.
Well, because she has bitch face. Like it's just an automatic bitch face.
Or it could be because she looks so much like Rick. I don't know.
Add to that every year she looks more and more like Cher.
Oh, kind of. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, she can come out singing, "You believe in life." She can do that.
Believe in life.
Speaking of heel, I like Bailey as a heel.
Oh yeah, Bailey's great as a heel.
Yeah, she's
I
funny.
didn't think
She's just that weird, angry. Her hair. I'm just like, Jesus, keep AJ Styles' hairstylist away from Bailey.
Hey.
I didn't think she had it in her to be a good heel like that, but she's been effective. I got to give her credit. She's really good at it.
I don't like her either way. I'll pass. I can't.
Yeah.
I cannot.
But I thought that Flair Ripley match was very good. I thought both were talking shit, and they were loud. And you know what? I was loving it when Flair said, "What? Are you supposed to be the next big thing? You ain't crap." And then he smacked the shit out. I was like, I love that. That was awesome, man. It was good stuff.
When I saw the result online, I was like, "Oh no!"
I didn't think it made sense until we found out really why, and then we understood why.
I'm saying before I saw the match, when I just heard the result, I was like, "Oh no," But then when I watched the match, they made it. In the way they worked the match, it made sense that it ended in this way, like the narrative they told in the ring. And then, yes, James, tell us the rumor about why this happened.
Well, apparently, Rhea Ripley was having work visa issues, and they were trying to get it done before WrestleMania, but with the travel restrictions, it became nearly impossible. So she was forced to drop the title to Charlotte Flair, so she can go back to Australia and so she can reapply for her work visa.
How scandalous.
Yeah, but now that's going to be another issue. Her getting there, and then actually her getting her visa, and then her getting back to the States is going to be an issue. But I've heard other things too, like the WWE have issued they've issued their talent like it's almost like a press credential, where it's like essential media, and you get you can sidestep a few of those landmines. So we'll see what happens in the end, Yeah. But the bottom line is that she had to go back to Australia to get a visa. Yeah, but actually, I like Zeus's answer. What she had to do was marry her boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it would have been good.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up a match because until I saw Edge Orton, this was my least favorite match on the show. And that was Dolph Ziggler versus Otis.
That whole thing is a fucking joke.
It's just lazy. It's just lazy story.
It's lazy booking. That's what it is.
Yeah.
What's the WWE's thing with the ugly dude and the hot chick?
I don't know. And, because I mean it's because of the the fan base. That's why.
I don't. I understand the appeal to the kiddies and stuff like that, and body image and all of that stuff. I get it. I got it. Good. I just don't want it.
But he's not. But to me, it's not his body image. Is his fucking body language.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fucking scummy acting. Like if a dude
like a sweaty pervert.
Like Otis, okay. Even if a guy that weighed 200 pounds less than Otis acted like him toward other girl fans at a fucking show, they'd have him fucking strung up and shot. Around the pretty girls going.
Angie. If some guy was trying to court you,
no, it's okay.
If some guy was trying to court you, Angie, and they're like doing all these weird mouth things and
gyrations and gyrations.
No,
like, Angie.
Oh my God. James, James, you're stupid.
Oh my god!
Oh, not for nothing, but if I saw me doing that, I'd run for the hills. You know, what the hell, man?
You know, Zeus was the one who first brought up to me like the weird mouth things he did because I didn't notice.
Yeah, I've never watched Otis.
And then I was like, "Oh shit! What are these weird
you,
mouth
Zeus.
things he does?" And
I
like,
know. I never
so
watched
creepy.
Otis's mouth until now, and I'm like, God damn, Zeus, because I'll be watching Otis's mouth.
I went to SmackDown.
Do y'all remember when they did on the WWE ECW, not the real ECW, but when they did the Balls Mahoney Kelly thing?
Oh,
See,
I remember that. I remember that.
I was out of the.
Okay,
I was out of the Federation at the time.
So that Balls Mahoney Kelly thing, like they actually were like sweet towards each other, like you know, like they acted a little more, you know, normal or whatever. He didn't do any weird creepy thing, and it was just kind of like they would bump into each other and sparks were kind of flying or something. And then her friends are like, "No, he's ugly and shit."
Yeah, but this is nothing like that. I mean,
right? I'm like, how did you go from that to like this dude being like,
is it me? Hold on. Is it me or does anybody notice how Mandy Rose looks every time she gets too close to Otis and all his sweat?
Oh my god!
You got this face like she's like you know, like she looks like she's trying to avoid looking disgusted. You know?
What about that
she's
kiss?
a superficial pretty girl. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't date Otis if she had a gun to her head in real life.
What about the
Is it true in real life that she's with Ziggler?
I don't know. I used to follow her on Insta, and she had a boyfriend who wasn't in the business.
Right.
The last time I saw it, I that was well over a year ago. So who knows?
Right. But that match was stupid. I didn't like the match. It was so predictable. You know, Mandy Rose is going to come out.
Yeah.
It was very predictable.
The whole storyline has been weird. Like, you remember, we talked about this around Valentine's or after Valentine's, the Valentine's Day episode of SmackDown. They had the whole, you know, date thing, and the, you know, Sonya Deville messed up the thing for Otis, and he shows up and she's with Dolph, and he stalks off, and people were such a big reaction to it. And, you know, we were like, well, you know, this is weird that people are still reacting to this, you know, dumb soap opera shit. And then he was like stalking them for a bit, wasn't he? After that,
yeah,
he was like stalking them. And then like the whole thing out of this is like he ends up picking her up in his arms and kissing her, and that was weird. Like they're like looking at each other into the kiss, like they're like going like, oh, should we do it? Well, let's do it. And you know,
let me ask you, let me ask you a question, Pedro. Is the whistleblower Ali?
Say what?
Is the whistleblower Ali?
Oh, is the whistleblower Ali?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who the whistleblower is. Who was the secret camera person?
I don't think it's pretty safe to say it's not Killer Cross.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Didn't he get into some trouble?
Who?
Killer Cross.
For what?
Nia Jax got angry at him because he
somebody
compared what Liv Morgan wore to Scarlett Bordeaux, and he like agreed with them or something. And
he said interesting question. That's all the fuck he said.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't wait for him to show up on NXT.
He was there at the end of the.
Yeah, he was there. They just didn't.
Scarlett were in the car.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along. Yeah, that Otis.
Yeah, please. That Otis thing was a disaster.
Wait, I'm sorry, but Nia Jax, I saw she was back. I saw her match, but was she injured or what was her?
Yeah. She had double ACL surgery.
Oy Dios. Okay.
Yeah,
continue.
Yeah.
Edge versus Orton.
I did not like it.
I hated this.
Why is
really
Edge
38
back?
minutes? 38 minutes that match was. That's
Yes.
ridiculous.
It's fucking long, lasts forever, and it was like watching a series of setups to do stunts in every room available in the facility.
And you saw it coming.
Well, yeah, and then let's get into this opening thing in the weight room, because this,
yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if this is just me. I haven't looked. I don't know if other people saw this, but Randy Orton was like trying to strangle or hang Edge in this with this weight room equipment, and the first thing that popped in my head was Chris Benoit suicide.
A lot of people brought that out. A lot of people said it was the same way that Benoit hung himself. Yeah.
And I'm like, why are they doing a callback to the Benoit suicide? Like, why would they do this? Like, how can they not know it's going to read like this?
Especially with the Dark Side of the Ring just airing a week previous. You know?
Yeah, and it was not a surprise. You know, they knew that was coming.
Yep.
Why would
I don't know why they did it. I don't know, Pedro. I think it's in poor taste. You know, there's so many other things that you could do with the weight stuff. I get it. But, you know,
I saw a lot of people defending it and saying they didn't think of that, but I'm just like, well, you must not have watched the damn Dark Side of the Ring thing.
Right,
exactly.
It just aired, you know, like, come on.
Well,
you know,
look,
it just aired. It's in everybody's mind.
We all heard about it back in 2007 that he used the weight equipment to hang himself. And now we got it all refreshed, like brought up all like all the thing. We're all like fresh in our minds once again. So like a reinforcement of a memory through the Dark Side of the Ring. And then they're like doing a callback to it, whether intentional or not. I just can't imagine it not being intentional, but I can't even imagine why it would be intentional. Like both things make my mind go, well, why would they do this?
Yeah.
But then it just followed by more of these, just like, let's set up a stunt in this room. Like, have we been in the TV production room? Let's go here.
I think a lot of that's all. Yeah. I think
it's like a young couple in a new house.
Yeah, exactly. Zeus, exactly. Perfect analogy.
Okay.
But you know what, Pedro? I think a lot of that was done also to protect Edge. Because I don't think you want to put Edge in a regular wrestling match. You know, because of his neck. You know.
Well, what would they have done if there wasn't this COVID-19 situation?
Do it in a steel cage. Whereas, you know, like he's trying to climb on top, he's trying to get her on top, stuff like that. You know, they got to find a way to protect Edge's neck. But this is not the way to go about it either. Like a 38-minute piece of shit, God knows what. I don't even know what to call this thing. You know?
But why is Edge back in the first place? I don't understand.
He's a wrestler, and you know, it's like, you know, like every time somebody he didn't go out the way he wanted to go out. He was forced to retire. Remember that. And you know, it's hard for these guys to take that. You know.
Do you remember, like, when Perito died? They said Edge came out a few months later saying that he found out the thing he had going on with his neck was very similar to what killed Wire Jr. Yeah. And so, like, he was like, oh, one more bump could have just ended my life. And now he's like back, and you're like, oh, like that's kind of.
You know, I know it's even more dangerous.
What?
Corey Graves actually saw that Edge match, and now Corey Graves is thinking about getting back in the ring.
Oh my goodness!
He's had 4 concussions.
Oh,
he's probably had more than that, but
they probably have more than that. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, were you crazy?
Match, to move this along, the finish of that match, James. He sets up the concerto on top. They're on top of the TV truck. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sets up the concerto, and Edge is like, he's crying and making these weird Popeye faces, and like, oh, I don't know what I should do. Should I do this?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so hammy and bad. I was like, fuck this. It's gone so long, and this is how it finishes. It's this long, drawn out, oh, should I do this?
Yeah, it's stupid. It reminded me of the Gargano Ciampa match. It was the same thing.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I might dislike that match more. I don't know.
I found that match more disappointing. It was because I didn't have any expectations for the Orton Edge match. I had high expectations, however, for the Gargano Ciampa match. And you're like, what is Candice LeRae heel now? Like, come on, like, really, is that what the whole point of that was?
Yeah.
You know, that's stupid. Anyway, but you know, I thought that match was horrible, Pedro. I totally agree with you. I did not like that ending at all. It was like, no. After that whole thing, as you said, I should or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? No, come on.
Yeah, and then the fire. What is it? Firehouse Funhouse? No, what is it?
It was a Firefly Funhouse match.
Firefly Funhouse match. Okay. It's just one long, like, weird episode of that show that Bray does. Yeah.
It's like a dream sequence. It was supposed to. It's supposed to be a trip through Cena's mind. It's supposed to be a trip through Cena's history. I did like how they were. You know, they had the old Bray Wyatt look going on, and match with the Undertaker. So, you know, like his whole first match with Cena. It's cool how they did certain aspects of it. I get it. I get how a lot of people didn't like it. Yeah, because it wasn't even a match.
It wasn't. I mean, look, the Boneyard at least was a fight, right? They're fighting. Right. It's a TV movie fight scene.
Right.
The Edge and Orton thing I hated, but at least again they're fighting. The Ciampa Gargano went on for fucking ever, an hour, and it was crappy, but they're fighting still, right? This was just like a bunch of promos, like just a vignette. Like it was like a Saturday Night Live skit, a really long.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I did mark out on a couple things. I'm not gonna lie. I did mark out on the SmackDown fist. I was like, look, you know, because they brought that out every time. They brought the WCW strap and the spray paint NWO on it. They brought back the blue steel cage, which is kind of cool. I did mark out on a few things, and I understand what they were trying to do. It wasn't pulled off perfectly, though.
I bet a lot of stuff.
And it wasn't a match. Like you said, there was no fighting involved. It was more like a mental battle, and it just didn't work.
The thing
didn't translate well.
When they're like by the Saturday Night main event with the steel cage thing, and like John Cena is like doing bicep curls, like super.
Yeah.
Fun. That was pretty hilarious. I won't lie. Mm-hmm. And then when John Cena disappeared.
What?
When John Cena disappeared at the end, I was like, are they serious with this right now?
He did what? Pedro? He did what?
Disappeared at the end.
Oh,
yeah. He just disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared. He's like, poof. Like HR puffing stuff.
He just disappeared.
I understood what they were trying to do, but they did not pull it off effectively. I get it.
Yeah, WrestleMania must have been a tough thing for them, because if you don't have it, you're probably never going to have it, because so much time is going to pass. You're going to be into late summer or possibly the fall, or who knows. Mm-hmm. And there's just going to be so much time is going to pass. There's just going to be no way to have it. It's just going to be the time is over. And then if you do have it, you get something like what we got, and some of it works, and then some of it is like,
yeah. And I don't want to even talk about the heavyweight title matches, because they're the exact same match. All right, you Braun Strowman and Goldberg and Drew McIntyre and fucking Brock Lesnar are the exact same match. There's nothing but finishes.
Yeah, finish spam.
Yeah, and that was it. And they both sucked. And I'm like, no, it just didn't. You know, it just didn't work. I tried to picture those matches in front of the crowd, and like the whole crowd going ooh and ah over the spears and the finishes in that matches, but it's the same. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, it just won't work. It just won't work. And like all the other matches on the card, like Elias and King Corbin and all that stuff. Everybody was a little stiffer, as you said, Pedro. But But in reality,
yeah.
right. But in reality, they were TV matches. It was ho hum.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, some of those matches weren't bad. They just were like average TV matches. You know, it was just
Yeah.
you know.
You know. But other than that, yeah, I think the WWE, I think AEW, I think everybody who's still running shows should shut down.
Yes. They
You
should
know?
all stop. It takes too many people to do these TV productions. We keep saying this for weeks now. Like they need to all stop wrestling.
Yeah.
And there's so many indies in like Mexico right now. They're all like they think it's a craze. And so they're all like, let's put on no people shows. And they're all like, they'll go into someone's, a little wrestling school and do like a lucha show. And you're like, you don't need.
Didn't the Bucks have a match in their backyard?
On the BT thing, probably.
Oh, can't do it. I can't.
Angie, did
just,
you?
Well,
I was going to ask Angie, did you watch AEW this week?
I watched like the second half of the show. I did not catch the first half. Hello? Yeah, they're having some type of tournament also. And so, yes. And I'm not sure. They did have... Yeah, they did have some people around the ring. It's just the wrestlers again, like they did previously, because they've done that before. And then the one show they had nobody there, and then they brought them back out for this show. So Bart and his son were out there. Sammy Guevara was out there. Chris Jericho did commentary, who's always like, he's great at the mic. He is just, Le Champion is great at the mic. And, yeah, so they're having their tournament. I just basically caught like a couple of matches.
I watched NXT this week, but I did see some of the Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida.
Oh my God, I can't stand Britt Baker. I don't get it. I don't get it.
She's terrible in the ring, but I will say her character work has improved a lot. But she's terrible in the ring.
Well, actually, she turned heel, and it does actually. I believe she turned heel. It's hard to read because she's not good either way, but yeah, and I think that does. If it is a heel portrayal, it does work for her. But I don't get it. I don't get it.
Got busted open. Her nose got busted open.
She's got a few knocks. She has got a few knocks in the matches that she has done. So she's not afraid to take a bump, obviously. So, but I just, nothing about her appeals to me whatsoever.
It was weird. There was a spot she's trying to put on her finish where she puts her hands in the people's mouth, but she's got all this blood going on, and the referee is taking off one of his gloves and giving it to her. And
oh my goodness.
And then Shida gets out. I'm just showing YYH's comments because she saw the whole show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. AEW fans are weird. Like, Shida had a match versus this girl named Anna Jay. Did you see that one, Angie?
No, I didn't.
So she had this match against this girl from Q2 Marshall's school named Anna Jay. And Anna Jay was nothing spectacular in the ring in terms of what she did, but she was a very beautiful looking girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people were just like, oh, fawning over her online. And then days later, AEW's like, Anna Jay is all elite. Like, they signed her. And it was like, just because she was good looking or whatever, that got her over.
I did see that announcement on Twitter, but I was not aware of how they pursued her or any. But I did see that announcement on Twitter. I'm worried about Lance Archer. I'm like, what are you guys going to do with him? Because right now it just looks like I don't know what they're doing with him, honestly.
They're going to fuck him up.
Oh, you know who they're fucking up is Brody Lee.
Yeah.
He should have never been the Exalted One. And then they should not have him in ill-fitting suits cutting promos that they're filmed on a cell phone and screaming at people in masks and coming off like some cosplay geek. Like they should not be doing this to this dude.
Oh, AEW.
He cannot.
Angie.
He can't
I'm
talk.
sorry.
Brody Lee cannot talk well. I'm not.
They're gonna mess up Brody Lee.
I'm not saying the
Macho.
content of what he says, but his voice is not. He doesn't cut a good promo like in terms of his delivery.
And he's so good in the ring too. He really is.
Yeah, he's good in the ring, but that's a guy you put with a mouth.
Yeah,
you put him with Jake.
Yeah,
you put that guy with Jake because Jake can do the talking and he does the thing. Lance Archer can cut a promo. He doesn't need Jake.
He doesn't.
I got a question.
No,
I got a question for you, Angie.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I already know Zeus's answer. But how bad are you missing New Japan right now?
Oh my goodness, my heart hurts. Baseball and New Japan, I can't. It's amazing that I mean, I'm looking at the past shows, but I keep looking at the same past shows over and over and over, and it's just. I just want them. I just want them back so bad.
They canceled more shows too.
Yes. I saw that.
Man.
Yes.
And they stopped completely, Zeus?
Huh?
Did they stop completely?
They have stopped completely.
Yeah,
once this all started, they stopped in March March, right, Zeus? Yes.
Yeah.
They did announce. Zeus, correct me if I'm wrong, but they did announce when the ticket sales were going to go on for Madison Square Garden. Did they not?
Yeah, but I think there was a pushback announcement after that. So,
and even if they do, even if this, whenever this does get resolved, is it going to be a case of them being able to come back so easily with the visas and the entrance back to the U.S., or is it? Going to be a factor.
I don't know. Who knows with the COVID stuff. I think if it wasn't for the coronavirus, it'd probably be a lot easier to get back in. But I think that they know how to, in a normal situation, but we'll just have to see. So, maybe they've, because everything else is so up in the air at this point. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, we're looking at a the Olympics were postponed for an entire year. So I don't know.
I wish I would have went to that New Japan show in Tampa.
Yeah. I was just noticing this morning that I actually went to 5 shows this year before this.
Wow, that's good.
You want fire, Zeus?
Yeah.
Well, because New Japan doesn't come to the West Coast until July. They always do a July show in Long Beach, and then normally towards the winter time, towards October or so. So I knew, I was going to have some time. But now that it's been so, it's gotten, it got to the situation where it's at. I'm like, I don't even know if they're going to be here for July.
Yeah.
But let me ask you guys a question. If they do come in, and let's say, Angie, they have a show in July or even in October, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still going to go?
Of course. And it's
be still scared? You wouldn't be still scared?
No, I'm going. No. You can bubble
she's like, fuck that, I want to see Okada.
my family can bubble wrap me. They can do whatever they feel they need to do. I am going. I don't, and if they do it in July, if they do it at the same place they have for the past couple of years, it's the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, and it's very wide. The last 2 shows I went to, I was totally by myself, and I had basically the whole road to myself because you can maneuver.
Right.
Angie,
and
you should go in an astronaut suit.
I will if I have to. I will. No problem.
right?
No, if they have to roll me in a big bubble, like a big ball of bubble or something, I have no
that
problem.
Movie, the Bubble Boy, or the one with
The boy in the plastic bubble. Is that the one?
The movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. Have
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
that was Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's one with John Travolta.
Yeah,
that's the kid in the plastic bubble. Yeah. Yeah, one with John Travolta. Yeah.
New Japan has been putting out a lot of documentaries on New Japan World. I haven't watched any of it though, but I know they've been putting that stuff out.
and they do have the boy in the. My dad was a heel.
What is that? What is that?
It's Ace is like a masked wrestler, and this little boy has to come to terms with the fact that his dad's a heel wrestler. Like his dad's a heel wrestler.
Oh wow!
And so I think they actually released it in the theaters over there.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Wow. Yeah, and it's actually on the site now.
We all need to watch this movie and come back and talk about it.
Yeah. No,
I think I'm gonna set up a ring in my backyard.
I really wanted to see it. And also, like, Zeus, I don't know if you can maybe like help me out with this or not, but there's a magazine with LIJ in the cover that I really want to get, and I just can't figure out how to get it.
I think that's the Weekly Gong. They call it Weekly Gong magazine.
And then, so I just Google it. Like I tried Googling it, and I didn't know where it was. Like it was taking me like some weird place. But how is that? It's weekly.
Yeah, you should be able to order that. Because I saw that they were selling the one that when Jay won the IWGP title. I saw them selling that internationally. So, but yeah, it's called Weekly Gong magazine.
Okay. Yeah. I could check on eBay. I know some of the magazines are on eBay.
You know what I noticed? Maybe this is just me, but I was able to tolerate the WWE more only because I was watching New Japan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I'm not watching New Japan, it's like I can't watch WWE by itself. It's like it drives me crazy.
Not having for me, not having CMLL and New Japan is like it makes everything kind of harder. Like
it was like New Japan was the balance, you know. I got the shit in the WWE, and then I got the actual wrestling from New Japan. You know, because it was actually the balance for me.
Because now all we got is like WWE, AEW,
and AEW,
and then
I can't watch AEW. That's a fucking travesty.
You know, putting out no people shows. I watched 2 no people shows. Well, one of them was no people. The other one had people, which was weird to me. But I had to watch 2 from that OWE, that Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, and they're doing shows out of Cambodia.
I think I'm going to set up a ring in my backyard, and then I'm going to have my starships go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going
to do a weekly show.
We're going to get all our figures out and do like stop motion wrestling.
Yeah, you know. It's the Klingons versus the Romulans in a death match. Oh, man.
Well, this has been fun. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're always welcome.
Our pleasure. Yes.
Like I said, we all need to watch this movie, movie, and come back and talk about it.
My dad was a heel.
It's on the site. They just put it on the site, I think, a couple of days ago, so it's on there.
And thanks for waking up early, Ange. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know,
you guys are awesome.
Well, we're here.
Even though Barry got eliminated, you guys are still awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they lasted until Sweet 16. That's pretty good.
I'm surprised they lasted that long, to be honest. I honestly surprised they lasted that long.
I want to thank Heather and YYH for coming by the chat room.
Bye,
Kaiju Queen Y2H2. She's pulling off an Aerosol impersonation.
I need to do a Mississippi Queen and do like Kaiju Queen.
Yeah.
I want to do one more shout out, and that is to the Way Too Real group, because they had a show last night. After
it was good to hear them. It was good to hear Mil Machetes and Dante Oblivion and Liz Savage
and CJ De Niro.
It was good to hear the crew, because as everybody knows, actually our podcast is actually an offshoot of theirs.
Yeah, they are the parent show in many ways of this show. So
they're the Disney to our ABC.
So thank you, everyone, and we'll see y'all next week. Hopefully, God willing, and
everybody stay safe, please. Please stay safe.
Stay safe and healthy, and adios.
And don't move your mouth like Otis.
Don't move your mouth like Otis if you want to impress girls.
Oh my God.
Holy monkey.
I want to do what my mommy told me not to do.
Adios.
You ever did that movie Saturday the 14th? That shit's outrageous.
Oh my God.